Well, we had them within reach for much of the night, but just couldn't quite manage to close the gap as classy finishes in front of goal helped Adelaide to a 28-point win over the Magpies at the Adelaide Oval on Saturday night. Welcome to another episode of The Agenda. I'm Michael Christian, and joining me in the studio, as he does every week from the Herald Sun, Jay Clark. Great effort, Jay, but just couldn't quite get the job done.
Yeah, it was, Chriso. Look, my glass is really half full on this one. I think to take on probably the most informed side in the competition on their home patch, and really, as we were about to look at, be very close right throughout the game, save for a couple of late lapses. Look, I thought this was a valiant effort, probably one of their best, certainly in the losses for the season. North this week against Friday. The Roos are gettable.
Yes.
They are under the pump, the Kangaroos. They've got issues everywhere. Drew Petrie forward, centre square not going that well, so I think this is a genuine 50-50 on Friday night. I think the Pies will be relatively confident. Yeah,
we're going to get to that in just a moment, but let's talk about Saturday night. And one of the issues, Jay, was late goals for Adelaide. It happened in the second quarter with this Josh Jenkins goal, and then the last two goals of the third quarter, and it's just so costly.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the Pies got off to a slow start, conceded the first 5 goals of the game, and then it was really make up from there. And as you just said, these late goals, look, this is at critical times in the match. This goal here from Eddie Betts, a great mark on Josh Smith. Look at the score there. So that Nathan Buckley laying eggs. 17 points down would have been at three-quarter time, and they're in the hunt. So for Collingwood to make up that early ground and then stay in, but this is a younger side versus a team in premiership mode, in absolute full swing. So, you give them a bit of a chop out there.
And 2 of those goals coming from ineffective spoils in the back 25, which is a coach killer. And we saw Nathan Buckley's reaction there. Turnovers was another big part of the game, and Collingwood's turnovers certainly were costly. We're showing here the turnover goals and a combination perhaps of decision making, but also some execution. And Adelaide were able to take full advantage.
Well, Adelaide are killer on the rebound. They are so lethal by foot, and what we saw throughout this game right throughout was probably a gap in class, and they're so good front and centre. You saw Eddie Betts kick that one there. So I think 11 of Adelaide's 14 goals were from Collingwood turnovers, Chris. So you see Rory Sloane chopping out here, and on the rebound, look how fast they go. They run aggressively, they spread quickly, and they move the ball. Nathan Buckley said we had some measures, Collingwood, to try and sort of combat some of this stuff, but a bit of that fell down, especially early in the piece. So this is where they are so dangerous. Every club in the comp is having trouble stopping Adelaide from doing this sort of stuff, Chriso. And as you see there, Jenkins with another snap, it was very good. Now, for a couple of years, Collingwood's probably had some issues with its kicking efficiency. Would you say that's probably the number one area of improvement required?
Yep, I agree. In fact, just to expand on those scores, 11-8 to 7-4. in terms of scores on turnover, which ironically enough is 28 points, which was the margin at the end of the match. So there are a number of issues there with those basic turnovers, and Adelaide took full toll.
Just on that, I think when Matty Scharenberg comes back next year, because he's a damaging ball user to the half-back line, I reckon there's some real upside to get, add a lethal edge to their ball movement.
And of course the Magpies under the pump in the first term. This was a moment Darcy Moore was able to take a mark on the end of probably the best passage, certainly up until that point for the Magpies, and then decided to pass off. It was another turnover. This was only the first mark of only 8 inside the attacking 50 for the match, and he clunks it here. It's a fantastic mark, and perhaps the idea is to go back, kick the goal. He was unselfish. You can see Jordan De Goey there in the frame, but Atkins did brilliantly to get across, and it certainly was an opportunity lost early in the game when just needed to get a goal on the board.
Yeah.
Now, we saw some earlier highlights of Adelaide's crummers, and I reckon, Jay, that's one area that we don't have. We don't have the genuine small crummer. Even Alex Fasolo, when he's up and going, he is a marking type player. He's good at ground level, mid-sizer. But have a look at our goal-kicking table here.
Yeah.
There's not many crummers amongst that.
No, I think at the end of the year, it's probably something the recruiting team and coaching team will look at. For Solo, given his injury histories, to kick 24 goals and be leading that, I think has been a pretty good effort. But then it's more, and it sort of falls away from there with some big guys. So, look, I wonder whether you already look forward to the father-sons who are coming through and whether that fills the gap. Well, Josh Dacos, you obviously know what him and his father were capable of, and Callum Brown as well, who's been setting the under-18 competition alight, Crusoe, really rising into first-round draft calculations. So I think when you look at that issue and wonder where those sort of crummy goals are coming from, maybe it's these father-sons, you can have some optimism about. Whether they go to the trade table for this, I'm not sure, but Betts and Cameron are just electric at ground level in that forward 50.
Outstanding, aren't they? They really make a difference. Well, speaking of Eddie Betts, what did you make of Braden Maynard? He got the job on Eddie Betts. What did you make of his performance?
Well, credit to Nathan Buckley for giving a young kid the challenge on one of the most informed players in the competition. He got away there on the turn, and he's so damaging with his few touches. So, look, I think Maynard, at the end of the day, can be really happy with his effort. Betts had only 10 disposals, Crusoe, at 60%, 3 marks and 3 goals. Exactly. He can have 8 touches and dominate a game inside the forward 50. Look how close Braden Maynard is playing him there. He is a tough competitor, a fierce defender. I reckon he almost has that Luke Hodge edge about him. Real physicality. I reckon he's intimidating. I reckon he's a 150 gamer, and I reckon it was a real positive, his effort on Betts on Saturday night. Yeah,
he did a tremendous job, and certainly one of those young players in that back six that Collingwood are looking to, and that was a good sliding mark to save a goal. So, pass mark certainly for Braden Maynard. Now, what about Taylor Adams? Back in the team, of course, for a couple of weeks now, and what a difference he is making. He's hard, he's tough, and he's been able to really be so directional and organisational with his ability as well.
Well, when everyone was saying that the Adams Shaw trade was a disaster for Collingwood, you on this show said that you really like Adams and you think this can come out more favourably for Collingwood in the wash-up. And we've seen over the past few weeks that he's just had a profound impact. That was a bit cheeky, wasn't it? And as we know, he's probably Collingwood's next captain. He's played a bit in defence, but his impact in midfield and congestion and clearances can be excellent, and a nice goal there. So, look, he's definitely one of the generals in there, isn't he?
And he's just 22 years of age, so there's a lot to look forward to for Taylor Adams. Here's Jonathan Marsh speaking with Collingwood media post-match about Taylor Adams.
He gets down there and he's got a very loud, clear voice, and then he leads by example as well. So he's a great guy to have off the half back, and when we need some grunt in the midfield, we chuck him in as well. So he's very versatile, and his impact is pretty huge down the back end. I think we're a bit more aggressive, to be honest. I think we've always got some pretty good communication down there, but Tay just brings that extra edge. So I think we all want to take a leaf out of his book and go a bit more aggressive and try and run the forwards off their feet, which is good. When Tay demands something, everyone in the team wants to do it, regardless of who you are. So that's just kind of what he is, and he'll do it for you. So like I said, it's very valuable to have, regardless of what position he plays.
So there you go, Taylor Adams, Jonathan Marsh speaking about him, and he's certainly a star. Let's look forward. You've already touched on it. What a game it's going to be on Friday night, North Melbourne versus Collingwood. North Melbourne have to win. You can see the table there. Port Adelaide, after their victory against North Melbourne last week, are drawing closer. And even the Saints, who in round 19 play North Melbourne, are in with a bit of a sniff. So it's a must-win game for North. They'll be breathing fire, Jay.
I saw them close up on Saturday, and they were pretty poor, Chriso, especially in that centre clearance area. This is where Collingwood can really take them on, I think, in that on-ball setup, because on Saturday night against the Crows, the Pies were thrashed in this area 17-7 themselves. Pendlebury, Treloar, Adams, we saw. They've got the capability to take on Cunnington, who's out of form, Zeeble, Goldstein, who's really struggled. So North has lost 6 out of their last 7 games. The Pies have won 3 out of their last 4. And so many question marks on some of the veterans and the injury list at North. What are they going to do this week with Wells, Waite, Petrie? The pressure is really on North Melbourne this week, isn't it?
Absolutely. They must win to ensure a top 8 spot. They need to win maybe 2, maybe 3 games for the rest of the season, and they would have chalked this one up at the start of the season. So a must-win game for North Melbourne.
What's your gut feel, do you think, on Friday night?
I think we'll be all right. Time now for our Monday Moments. And, of course, I'll kick it off.
It's you, mate.
Yes.
It's a very courageous act from one of the favourite sons, as we discussed last week, from Brent Macaffer.
Absolutely, and this is the vision. He played a great game last week on Heath Shaw, and going back just with so much courage there on lever, I reckon he might have been a bit lucky to get a free kick for that, but just shows the intestinal fortitude he's got. He's had to work so hard to get back into this Collingwood side.
And,
and great courage showed by Brent Macaffer.
Mine is a little more unusual, Chriso. Let's have a look at this goal celebration from Moore and James Ace. So up goes Moore, nearly pulled down the mark. Quick hands from Grundy. Ace! Best goal for the club, Chriso. Lovely snap. He's been building. It's been a slow burn. Nice snap there from Aishi. What is going on with that celebration, boys? Seriously. That was the double fist. It was like that one and then the damn low one. Now, I want the
Collingwood
media
come up with
team,
something a bit better than that.
Yeah, we should do something.
Yeah, we need to get
Can't
something.
be hard to beat that.
No.
The Collingwood media team to talk to Darcy Moore, maybe James Ace, about what the hell was going on with that goal celebration, because I want to know. It was an unusual
Always
one,
worry
so.
about the premeditated celebrations.
Yeah. Nice snap from Ace.
Nice snap. Yeah,
What happened
and probably played
sure.
his best game, so that's a real encouraging sign for the Magpies. Now, also want to show just a clip of, well, once you've been a Collingwood player, you almost always are a Collingwood player. And Paul Seedsman here, this is a hard hit on Jared Blair. But you can see Seedsman having a chat to him. You okay, mate? Yeah, I think I'm all right, says Jared. But he looked a bit groggy. And then Paul Seedsman getting him to his feet. So,
well done,
yeah, absolutely. So well done. Once a Magpie, always a Magpie. Paul Seedsman there doing his best work. All right, mate, we've come to the end of the show. Looking forward, as we said, to Friday night. Disappointing the result against the Crows, but looking forward to a massive Friday night. So we'll be hopefully here next Monday morning.
The glass is half full.
Talking about Collingwood's big win over North Melbourne. Go Pies, see you next week.